Hey everyone, welcome back. Happy Friday. We made it through another week, and I think it deserves a little cheer for us. So, congrats. It has been a great week for us, but we made it through. So, another week is done and in the books. And what happened today? Well, Bitcoin was up a little bit here. The miners, not so much. We had a couple miners that were in the green. One of the big guys and like two of the smaller guys. So, we'll take a look at what happened here today with miners and Bitcoin as well. We'll also take a look at Marathon. They're going to be increasing the number of shares that they have available to pull later on for acquisitions and ATMs and share dilution, all that stuff. We'll talk about it. And then we'll also take a look at the short interest on the miners here, the latest data that I have. It's still only from the middle of December. I wish there was a way we could get the data a little bit faster. I'm sure we could do that with like Bloomberg terminal or something like that, but I don't have access to that. That's a couple $1,000s a month for that. I don't have that kind of money. It is what it is. We'll deal with it. But nonetheless, we do have some updates here. So let's get into it here. And as always, you guys know the drill. Not financial advice for intent only. Do your own research. Full disclosure below that. Hit the like button, subscribe. Helps me out tremendously. And let's take a look at what's going on here with Bitcoin. Bitcoin had a kind of weird day today a little bit. It was something that I haven't seen in a while. Or I don't think I've ever seen this before. We had 14 straight hours of Bitcoin going in the green. It was just crazy today. So it started basically on Thursday at roughly, was that 3 p.m. its time, whatever that is. And then it just continued going up here through 14 hours until Friday at 4 basically in the morning here. Right now, so I think it might be my time because this is, 20th is my time right now. So we had 14 straight hours. I was looking back through the charts here a little bit, going back. We got as close to like 11 straight hours, I think it was. It was going up, not 14 here. So this is, I think, the most that it's gone up. Nonetheless, Bitcoin was up on the day here today, which was nice. Miners were down for the most part. I think they were down because Bitcoin was down yesterday, more or less. So we only had one miner that was up. But Bitcoin was up today a little bit here. Was up 2.33%, which was nice. Closed at 94,701. We had a high of 95,862. Came back down a little bit here. We are red right now on the weekend, basically. This is going on to Saturday now. And we'll see how Bitcoin does over the weekend. And then we got more stuff happening here. But today we got also the data for non-farm payroll. And that was up higher than people were expecting. So the markets didn't do too well. I believe the 10-year yield went up also for that. Dollar is doing really well also. What else was there? It was just a combination of things. Yeah, the markets were down today, but yeah, Bitcoin was still up today, which was surprising. So it's a little strange what's happening here in the markets. The good thing is, I guess, all these people that were talking about the recession is going to be here in 2025. I currently don't see the signs of a recession yet or anything like that. Labor market's strong, right? Dollar's strong. I mean, we're doing pretty well here overall, and we'll see. Maybe we do get a recession in 2026 or something like that, but I just don't see anything happening like that right now unless we have like a black swan event happening later on this year. But right now, it doesn't just look like we're going to have a recession this year. Kind of what I was thinking middle of last year and into the end of last year as well. I just wasn't seeing it here. But things can always change on a dime here. One bad thing, and we could definitely be going down. But right now, I still think Bitcoin's going to be going up to new all-time highs. Don't know exactly when that's going to be. I believe that's going to be probably within the next couple of weeks, couple months. We should be heading to new all-time highs. We had some news stories today also. Was it North Dakota or one of the states? There was a couple of states I think that reported that they're going to be introducing a bill for Bitcoin Strategic Reserve. So adoption is continuing to happen. Whether Bitcoin is going up or down, Bitcoin right now is kind of trading sideways more or less. It's range bound a little bit here. Looks like between around 92,000 and maybe somewhere around, it keeps wanting to go back up to like 102,000 or something like that. So we'll see. Right now, we're just trading sideways, I think, which isn't bad. It isn't great either. But we are chopping water here, and we need a little catalyst, I think, to get us going further here. What that's going to be, I don't know. It could be the inauguration of the new president. It could be an executive order by the president. It could be any number of things here that gets us going up again here. Okay, so Bitcoin did okay today. Miners, for the most part, like I said, excuse me, we're down. Bitfarms was down just a little bit here, 0.6%. BitTBT was down 0.4%. Cypher was down 1.39%. Cleanspark was flat on the day. It was up at a portion of the day here. CORZ was just down barely, 0.07%. Hive was down 2.56. HUT 8 was down 0.4. IREN was up 4.66% today. Had a pretty good day. Beat Bitcoin even. Mara was down 2.62%. Riot was down just slightly, 0.17%. Wolf was down 2% on the day. It looks like on Wolf, I mean, this might, I'm just saying might. It looks like this might be the bottom here for it. We'll see where it actually bottoms out. But, I mean, it's bounced off of this before here, so we'll see. And then smaller miners were down for the most part, except for Annie and Bit Digital as well. Bit Digital was up a little bit here, 0.3. Annie was up 2.83%. ETFs were down today, and yeah, that's about it for it. We'll see how they do. Bitcoin for January right now is up a little bit here, 1% roughly. So not a great month yet. Could it be a great month? Fingers crossed it does get to be a good month, but we'll see. Historically, it's been it's split 50-50 between green months and red months. So it's a crapshoot right now. We'll see where Bitcoin ends up on January here. All right. Story that we do have here is on Mara. Mara plans 60% increase in authorized shares for issuance. So Mara is looking to raise about 1.1 billion. Mara raised 1.1 billion during the first 3 quarters of 2024, and so have a lot of miners as well. They pulled on the ATM heavily here in 2024, so that's no exception there. But Bitcoin mining giant Mara is calling on shareholders to vote on a proposal to increase its total authorized shares for issuance from 500 million to 800 million. Okay, let's take a look at Marathon here really quick on that. What are they at right now? Based on the Q3 results and what they reported, they have 321 million shares. So they still have approximately, give or take, say 180 to maybe 150 million shares left to use up. And what are they going to use that for? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Recently, they've been doing, obviously, a lot of buying of Bitcoin here. They may want to also grow a little bit more. I'm sure they probably want to grow a little bit more with their hash rate, possibly. I don't know that for a fact, though. So they could be using that, but they still have, 150 million, let's just say 150 million shares, roughly, right? More or less. At their current stock price, that is, where are they at right now? 1786. So they have enough to pull on. Let's do the math here on my calculator really quick. 150 million shares, okay, times, let's just say that they dilute right around these levels, 1786. So 17.86, that's basically 2.6 billion, right? So if you add the 300 million on top of it that they're going to be getting at these levels, that would mean a total dilution potential of 6.2 billion here. That is a lot, right? That could definitely get them more hash rate, more buying power to buy more Bitcoin if they wanted to go that route and be more like a MicroStrategy. We don't know. Time will tell as far as what their actual path is going forward on it. And maybe they provide some guidance on it as well. But going back here, in a proxy statement filed Friday, Mara seeks to amend its restricted articles of incorporation to raise the cap on its authorized common stock. If approved, the plan will not immediately result in new shares being issued. However, it will open the door for potential shareholder dilution through additional stock offerings or stock-based acquisitions. Okay, well, we know that's the case with anybody that's increasing their number of shares. And then simultaneously, Mara issued 13 million shares of Series X preferred stock to the company's lead independent director, Douglas Mellinger, for the sole purpose of voting on the share authorization proposal. You can basically, at 13 million shares, he gets basically those shares carry 1,000 votes. You got 13 billion voting rights right there. That person alone can basically slap this through and get it through and approved, whether or not shareholders actually want this. So it states it in here. Each series of X shares carries 1,000 votes, which will automatically mirror the proportion of the votes cast for and against the proposal by Mara's common stockholders, simplifying their collective decision. So will it actually be where if you get 30% voting against it and 70% voting for it, will that be the split between that? And that's how they're going to be. Why do that? Why not just put that in as saying that? To me, that doesn't make any sense. Right? Why would you issue different shares that have 1,000 votes when you got shareholders out there voting as well, and you're just amplifying those votes? What's the point of that? I just don't get that part of it. So that's why I'm thinking this is just basically a shoe-in to get approved on it. And then throughout 2024, Mara has increased its outstanding common stock from 222 million to 321 million shares as of November 5th, resulting in a 49% dilution of shareholders due to extensive equity financing. And they're not the only ones that have done that, obviously. There's other companies that have done it also, Cleanspark, IREN, Riot, and a bunch of other miners as well. So that's not uncommon. That's not something that's only to Marathon or Mara on it. But it is interesting that they're looking to get more shares before they've actually gotten close to using up the first 500 million there. So it looks like they want to possibly, my take on this is possibly buy more Bitcoin faster. And this would definitely allow them to do that. So we'll see how this goes through as well. Okay, just want to point that out to you guys here. Let's see. And then, over here they even stated here, in August 2024, one of Mara's closest competitors, Cleanspark, also sought to double its authorized shares. Right, they got approved as well. So that is also part of the story here. All right, so that's what we have with Mara here. We'll see what they do with it. I'm guessing, like I said, they're going to probably buy some more Bitcoin here and use some of it for maybe acquisitions and maybe buying or building out their Bitcoin mining sites as well. All right, next here. So let's take a look at the shares shorted here right now. This is, like I said, this is as of December 13th. This is the latest data that I was able to pull in. And here we can see that right now, Marathon number of current shares shorted is 78 million. So that's the largest amount there. Cleanspark is the second one with 60 million. Then you got Riot at 59, pretty close to what Cleanspark is. TeraWolf at 56 million. Bitfarms at 53 million. So those guys, like more or less the 5 miners or so that are sole Bitcoin miners right now, they're getting shorted the most. Whereas some of these other guys, except, well, Hive has some HPCI business going on, but Hut 8, very little, 7.98 million shares, right? BitDeer, only 12.4 on it. But it does look a little bit differently when you look at the percentage of average floated shorts. We got now Marathon at 25%, so that's the most shorted. Last month we had actually Cleanspark being the most shorted with like 23. So shorts have increased here. And Cleanspark's at the number 2 spot being shorted the most, followed by BitDeer, 21%, right? So even BitDeer has not a lot of shares being shorted here. They don't have a lot of shares outstanding. That's why they're at 21% right now. TeraWolf is at 19%, along with Riot. So those are the 5 most shorted shares here right now on it. TeraWolf, I could understand. It's had a huge one up here in the last 6 months or so, along with BitDeer. So I could understand that, why those guys are shorted here. The thing I don't understand about like Marathon and Cleanspark is they're generating a heck of a lot more revenue because of their hash rate growth, and their operations are also pretty good. That to me doesn't make much sense. Why are you shorting those guys when their revenue is going to be great? They should have really good EPS coming in Q1. So maybe we'll see an update for the end of December figures when those get published, and maybe we'll see a change in the amount of shares being shorted at that point, right? Because this is based on the numbers from the middle of December. Going down here, share shorted value versus market cap. We can see here that Marathon is about 1.4 billion shares shorted here. They have a current market cap of about 5.7 billion. Then you got Riot, 778. Core at 650 million shares. Cleanspark, 711 million shares. BitDeer, 576 million shares worth. Right, so you can see all that going down here. And the number of shares shorted changed from last time. So the last time we looked at it was back at the end of November numbers. We can see here since then, in basically 2 weeks or so, since the numbers were updated, Cypher actually shares shorted went down 2.9 million, along with TeraWolf, Hive. Hut 8 increased a little bit here, 0.8. BitDeer increased by 2.7 million, Cleanspark by 3.4, IREN by 4.18, CORZ 6.1, Bitfarms 8.2, Marathon 12.98, and Marathon increased the most here by 15 million shares here in the last, basically in 2 weeks' time only. And then if we look at the percentage of change in shares shorted from last review, we can see that IREN has the highest increase based on number of shares, right? 40% increase, followed by Riot at 35%. Then you got BitDeer 27%, and Marathon with 19%, Core at 18%, Bitfarms at 18% as well of the number of shares. And then price change percentage from the 12 weeks ago. BitDeer's up the most, 20%, followed by Hut 8, 67%, and everybody else has been kind of around 20s, teens, more or less, and then some were actually down. Like Bitfarms is down, Hive is down, Cleanspark is down since then. So kind of interesting to look at that. And then here is the full layout of all these guys, how the number of shares have been shorted over the last, I don't know, what is it, probably 6 months or so, 7 months, 8 months, whatever it might be. BitDeer definitely has been increasing the number of shares being shorted here. You can see towards the end, Bitfarms, a continuation of just an increase. I can see why people are shorting Bitfarms, right? They haven't reached their targets. So I can understand the reasoning there. They still have Riot on their backs, owning 19.9% of the shares there of the company. Then you got Cypher here. Cypher's actually been coming down with the number of shares being shorted here recently. Cleanspark, a continuation of shares increasing actually of being shorted, which is also surprising. Like I said before, it's just they're generating more and more revenue, but they're being shorted more and more. Seems counterintuitive to me, at least. You would want to probably go after the companies that aren't performing well instead of going after the companies that are performing really well based on, what we're seeing here with Cleanspark. If you look at it, we looked at it yesterday. It was like the best as far as operations for December. And then if you look at it over the last 12 months, it's coming in at the number 1 spot. So to me, this doesn't make any sense on it unless I'm missing something there. Core also has been increasing here as well, which is kind of interesting to see because their revenues are going to be increasing as we get closer to them energizing the sites for CoreWeave. So that's also interesting there. But it might be also with some of these guys at the end of the year, right? They're thinking tax loss harvesting. There's people are going to be selling. Maybe that's the reason why for it also. Hut 8 has been coming down, a number of shares being shorted as well. IREN has been actually increasing here recently. Marathon, it's been a roller coaster. It's been up, it's been down. It's been a huge uptick here recently here. Riot, same thing. It's been coming down for the most part, and then just a nice uptick here. I won't say it's nice because it's being shorted more. Whereas TeraWolf is a little bit more flat here recently over the last couple months here, it looks like. We had a little blip here, a little bump, and then it's been flat or actually coming down a little bit for the most part. So that's what we have with the shorts. The shorts are still heavily in, keeping the miners down. I think eventually they will, or at least they should, in my theory at least, they should subside and let some of these guys run here a little bit more, but we'll see. Because at a certain point, when they become really profitable, right, depending where Bitcoin's at the point, even for Q4 here, we ended here just last month, those figures should be coming in like February, early February, mid-February to late February, right? Those, for all these guys here, those numbers should be looking much better here. A lot of these guys should be also positive with EPS. Tack on that the FASB rules, that helps me out even more. And at that point, if you're shorting them, I mean, it's almost like you're looking to lose money at that point. I think there's just going to be so much more interest in these guys because they're going to be profitable. So once that does happen, that should happen. We saw that happen last time around as well when they were starting to show positive EPSs also. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. We'll see. Time will tell. All right, let's get into your guys' Q&A, and we'll call it a day. We're rocking and rolling in here, so let's see what you guys have to say, questions, thoughts, anything like that. I'd love to hear from what you guys are thinking there out there. And yeah, we'll call it a week, call it a day. It's Friday night. Go and watch a movie or something like that. Spend some time with the family. All right, so as always, questions, please preface them with a Q, and then I will scroll up a little bit here, see if there's any questions that I missed, and we'll go through it. Okay, let's see here. First question from Caprice. I think it's Caprice. Question: why do you have a creepy giraffe behind you? That creepy giraffe, you can't see it here in this shot, but it was my boys. We had it in the boys' room when they were much younger, right when they were born, and I don't have the heart to get rid of her, Molly there. So I have a niece that's what's she now? Gosh, 3 years old. I think she's, yeah. I'm terrible with dates and ages. She's like 3 years old. So I may actually give that to her. But it's been in the family here for a long time, many, many years with us, with the boys growing up. And like, didn't have a place to put it. It was just sitting here in the basement. I'm like, I'll put it over here. I like the giraffe. The giraffe is a cool animal. They're tall and they got the long necks. It kind of reminds me of Bitcoin going parabolic. So that's why it's in the background. Victor, question is it possible Trump could fix the inflation and avoid the market crash due to no rate cuts? Thanks. Could he fix the inflation? How would you fix the inflation though? The inflation you would need a little bit of downturn in the economy at that point, I would think, right? Tariffs would lead to, I would imagine, higher prices on things, right? So that wouldn't really be the cause there. It's definitely going to be a tricky situation to combat, right? But is he talking about the tariffs right now just to kind of set an high expectation? And then when he gets in, right, there's always room to work down, right, to get more of what you want. But so that could be just a art of the deal type of thing, right? But yeah, I don't know. I'm not an economist. I don't know how all this stuff exactly. I know how most of it works, but there's probably things that I'm not privy to or don't know which strings to pull on to make things happen. Okay, let's see. Especially, have you seen the news about DOJ having the approval to sell 69,000 Bitcoin from Silk Road? Do you think they will do it before Trump? I've seen that, yeah. And the only thing is that I think it's more FUD than anything else. Remember, the DOJ would put it up as an auction. So that means it wouldn't go into the actual market, I don't think. Be sold on the open market. I think it would be more on the private side of things, maybe. So people that are buying it are going to be buying it and probably holding it instead of selling it. So that's my understanding of it there. And then do you think they will do it before Trump? Anything is possible, to be honest. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. I don't know. I'm not too worried about it there. I know it's a lot. We had Germany sell, what was like 40,000 Bitcoin here in the summertime. Yeah, we'll see. See, I mentioned B82 says maybe the DOJ will sell to the Treasury. And that would be a good one. Let's see. Seb, are you a Buckeye fan? I'll keep you updated. Buckeyes, that's basketball. It's been a while. I used to be a huge fan of basketball back when Jordan was playing the days. That was right around my time frame. When I was also in middle school and high school, I was playing basketball. That time frame was great. After that, life got a hold of me, family and all that stuff later on. But I never got back into basketball. It's, I don't know, just too many personalities in there, it seems like. And I don't know if they're, I don't know. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. Okay, let's see. Hi, Seb. Are you still positive for Cleanspark and Mara for 3 to 5x by May with upcoming revenue projections from 2024 Q4 results to trigger a short squeeze like 2024 February? This price action is weird. Yeah, price action is weird. I'm still positive on the projections here. I think a 3x is definitely doable. 5x, we need Bitcoin to go up much higher than like 180,000, 200,000, somewhere around there. I think that would be possible as well. But yeah, definitely we'll have to see. It's your time to sell Mara. I don't know. I mean, what are they going to do with it, right? They haven't really been getting priced on the hodl that they have, like they thought they possibly might, like MicroStrategy. You can see that in the not in the operation, but you can see that in the market cap. You can see the market cap. If you look at Mara's market cap, and then look at their hodl position, it is weird. So they're not getting priced on the hodl really, because you can see here their hodl is valued about 4.2 billion. Their market cap is 5.7 billion. So that's 73% of their market cap is their hodl position right now. So either they're being valued on their hodl and not valued on their operations, or they're being valued very lowly on their operations because their hodl is. So it's kind of weird, right? Everybody's talking about that hodl should be like 2x, something like that. I don't necessarily disagree with that, but I think it should be 2x if you believe that Bitcoin is going to 200,000, right? We talked about that, I think, yesterday's video, where if you believe that Bitcoin is going to 200,000, okay, then yeah, I could see BTC hodl being valued at like 2x. But as you get closer to that with Bitcoin price, you got to take that X multiple lower. So as you get closer to 200,000 and you think it's going to 100,000, you got to roll that back down to where it's basically like a 1x at that point. So it's not a forever 2x multiple on it. But yeah, it is definitely weird. Go back here. Let's see. Okay. Hello, Seb. Were miners this heavily shorted on the previous bull runs? Thanks. On the previous bull runs or last cycle? Previous bull run, we would have to go back to, and I don't think I have the data for it. I don't. Let me see. How far does my data go back on the shorts? Looking back here, shorted. Where is it at? There it is. The numbers that I have here, I go back to, well, 614. So it's basically all of last year. And we can see here that, let's take a look. Where's it at? Screen. So here's Marathon, right? 41 million shares were shorted back then. We got up to as high, so of 80. Here, yeah, so it looks like they were less shorted than they are now. And they had a nice run up in 2013, remember? A lot of these guys did, at least. You got Cleanspark only being 11 million shares shorted at that point. They are now at 60 million, so that's basically 6x of shares. So it does look like they were less shorted back then, at least a year ago or 2 years ago now, going a year and a half back to June of 2023. And the miners were running at that point as well, if you remember. Cleanspark didn't start running until, I think it was back in like, what was it, November of 2023, if I'm not mistaken, something like that. So that'd be right around here. And they were still 60 million, 50 million shares shorted, not the full 60 million, but we've also had more dilution, right? So that kind of could account for that percentage there. But yeah, it wasn't that bad last time. Even last cycle, I don't think it was this high. So they are definitely being manipulated, where a lot of people are saying that the big guys are going along like MicroStrategy, Bitcoin, and then shorting the miners on top of it, right? Kind of hedging their bets a little bit. All right, go back here. Okay, let's see. What's happening with Mara as far as what? They're increasing the number of shares, possibly. Yeah. Seb, do you think the miners will at least double from its current prices by March? By March, if we get good EPS numbers from them, I think that might be the catalyst that runs them. They should get close to a double. Right? When they do run, they run relatively quickly here. Sorry, my throat is getting dry. How come you are so calm all the time? That's just my nature. I don't get phased easily. I've also been through, now this is going to be my, was it third cycle, 2017, 2021? Yeah, this is going to be my third cycle now. So I've been through this before. So you can say, well, I wouldn't say I'm a veteran, but at least I've been through it. I've been down this road before with not only the miners, I had it Hive at that point. Ran it all the way up. Should have sold it. Didn't, learn my lesson there. So I've been through this. I know kind of what to look for a little bit. And we've seen this kind of patterns before where Bitcoin does nothing or goes down and the miners do the same thing. The long shot of this is we are still relatively early, I would say. We're not really, really early, but I think we're still relatively early before Bitcoin really runs to a new all-time high. But that time frame is decreasing for us when that's going to happen here. Also, could this cycle be different? Yes, it could be different. ETFs, nation states putting it on their balance sheets, our country, regular states putting it. More and more companies putting it on their balance sheet as well. So there's a lot more adoption here happening with Bitcoin. That could lead us to where Bitcoin goes up maybe for a couple of years instead of the next 6 to 9 months, and then we go into another bear market. So there's something else that we got to keep an eye on. But it's basically that I've been through this before, and I'm still in the green on these guys here, even though they've come down here. I'm still green on Bitfarms just slightly. I think like up 8% or 9% on it. IREN today, I'm probably up still 15, 20% on it. Cleanspark, I'm still up on it like 100%. So I'm still in a good place, and I think that's kind of why I'm maybe not as freaking out as much as maybe some others would be. Okay. How would FASB rules impact Bitfarms if they moved headquarters to USA? Good for them. Yeah, that would be good for them because they're not taking the advantage of the FASB rules because they're not, what's the standard here in the United States? I can't remember what the standard is called, but they have a different standard where they don't have that optionality to use it for that. So Bitcoin price goes up, whatever they had at the beginning of the quarter, whatever it ended up at the end of the quarter, that would be appreciation for them. They could put it on the books as a positive value there, which would help them in the EPS side of things. Let's see. Question: do you think will be a market crash soon? I mean, we're down a little bit already as it is. Let me see. Dow Jones is down. Let's take a look at it here together. I mean, we're down. We're maybe do it for a little bit of a correction here. Nothing major. I don't think we're going to have a market crash. I mean, companies, we're going to get some companies reporting next week, I believe. So we'll see what they're doing. But, I mean, look at this is Dow Jones here. Dow Jones is down 6%. I mean, we could go down another couple percentage points here before we have a nice 10% correction possibly on it. But overall, I mean, we've had these kind of little pullbacks here. We had one back here. On it was down 5% as well. We had one here, it was probably another 5% here. We've had some other corrections back here. This was back in 2023 where we went down approximately, what is it, almost 10% here. So this is one of those possibly. I mean, overall, if you look far enough back, we've been going up here. We were trading kind of downwards here. Let's see, this is a bigger dip here. From here down to here, we were down 22%. This was from January 2022 down to October of that year, right? We were down, and then after that, we started heading back up. But overall, if you look at it, Dow Jones has been going up here for the most part. The NASDAQ has been going up. NASDAQ had a nasty correction here, it looks like. This was back in November of 2021. Down to the bottom was 37% that we went on it. We've had a nice run up here recently. We had a little bit of correction over here as well. How much was that one here? This one was in July of this year. We went down 16% on it. So corrections are going to happen from time to time. And this is the S&P 500 here. That one had a correction as well. We went from here down to there. It was a 27% correction. We are just down a little bit here right now on it. So the little corrections here and there are not that bad, 5% down. I think it's okay, right? There's nothing that's telling me right now that we would have a major correction happening for us or make a downturn in the markets. Companies, I mean, I don't know where you guys live. Where I live, I still see people going out shopping. I still see people going out to restaurants. The restaurants are packed for the most part. It's like life is normal. Life is good. People are living their lives. They're getting things. People are buying things. People might be also front running a little bit of inflation fears for next year, possibly. I've seen a number of people buy new cars, trying to get in before, if there is such a thing. So, I mean, that's still spurring the economy a little bit. So there's a lot of macro and micro things happening here in it. I don't know. We'll see. But I don't think we're going to have a huge correction or like a market crash. All right, go back here. Let's see. So Riot's HODL is 17,000. So yeah, it's like 17 something right now. Okay. What are the odds that miners will never see new highs due to never-ending dilution? Well, I think some of the miners are done diluting, at least for a while. We don't know exactly for how long, but we know that Cleanspark stated that they're not looking to dilute anytime soon here. They're got the convertible debt, right, which they're using to fund their operations, be able to HODL and be able to grow to 50 plus exahash. I think Marathon's in that same kind of boat. Riot should be in that boat as well, I believe. They shouldn't be diluting much. So I don't know. But yeah, if they go back to that ATM, then that would not be good. Let's see, Everton, good morning from the UK. Yeah, it's pretty early for you right now. It's probably like 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the morning for you. Let's see here. Question, Seb, the January 25 options are expiring next week, and there are huge number of positions in Mara shorts, maybe trying to hold back the calls. It could be. Yeah, that's why I don't get into options. I'd rather just own the shares outright. See, we need a liquidation Sailors BTC. We need to liquidation Sailors BTC. Oh, well, you have to go down to like what, 60-some thousand. I think that's his average right now. Let's see, Seb, all I ask for is miners to double or 3x from here, and I'm all good. A lot of people would be all good with that, right? If we at least double from here to 3x, oh my gosh, that'd be fantastic. Yeah, I would definitely take that as well. Ideally, I'd like to have at least a 5x. That would be even more, but 3x, I'll be happy with that. What else here? Okay, let's see, question. Okay, here we go. Question, Cleanspark no dilution for next little while. Bad for shorters? It should be, yeah. Plus, if they come out with good EPS numbers for Q4, which I think they will, that should be a double-edged sword there. Okay. I'm not sure on this one. Any ideas why you get the Minsk? I don't know what that is. Question. It looks like BTC found some support around 92,000. Yeah, I agree there. I'm thinking that if we're to drop, it has to be next week because it gets more unlikely as we near Trump's inauguration. Thoughts? I would also think so. Yeah, if we do drop, we're going to drop here probably next week. I would see that happening. We might go down to like 85,000, get a maybe that it'd be a lower likelihood that we drop down to like 75,000 with a quick wick down and then bounce off of that. But I'm not taking it out of the question there. Are we getting diminished? Any ideas why we getting diminished? Diminished returns is that what you're talking about on the miners? Dilution was part of it there. Also, big boys are playing in this field now more than ever, and they're betting on Bitcoin MicroStrategy maybe, and then hedging their bets with shorting the miners. Okay, let's see. Seb, can you look at the previous cycle Bitcoin chart and see when we started to really rip? Yeah, we can look at that. Let's see here. Let me go over here. This one. Okay. So last cycle on Bitcoin, the miners started to rip. Let's see, this is on the weekly here. Let's go to the daily really quick. Bitcoin. Okay, so that's the heavy event that we were just in. We had the double top. So here's the second top that we had, 69,000. Here's the first top that we had here. This was in April. So if we look at it here, you got March, February, right? Bitcoin was already starting to run up here a little bit. From October, it looks like, is when it started to run up here through the end of the year. So how far did it get up here? It went from here. It had a nice rally here. It was up 285% to basically like January, from October to January, right? So similar to kind of what we saw here with Bitcoin going from, where was it, 60-some thousand to over 100,000, right? Something similar to that. A little bit less of a percentage gains, but higher dollar values. Then we dipped lower from January through February, basically, right? And then after February is when we started going up. So let's put some miners over that on top of it as well. Let's put Mara on there. I think Mara was in there as well. Who else was in there at that time? We had Riot. Cleanspark was starting out at that point, so I'm going to include them. Riot was in there. We had, let's just do those two. So we can see here, let's see here, January, we were going down into February, then we started going up. So look at this. Some of these guys here went up huge in basically just a matter of a month's time, it looks like. By the end of, well, middle of February even. So you can see, yeah, I mean, they kind of bottomed out here at Wednesday, the 27th of January, 2021. And then within 3 weeks or so, they got some huge gains here out of that. Let's take a look at that if we can go to the bottoms here. What was those actual gains here? So that was the bottom right around there. We had about 300% gains on Mara. From there, Riot had approximately, what is that, 164 gains in just a matter of a couple weeks. So they should start running towards the end of the month here if we look at the cycle like last and if it repeats. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Question. Has Bitfarms told us why their hash rate did not improve in December? I have not heard anything from them, no. Nabil says, nope, they love to attend conferences. All these guys do. Right? They go to these conferences, they stay at these nice hotels, they have all the fun, the drinks, and everything else. It's all part of doing business. Basically, we're funding that for them. But I think it's also good. You get some insights into those things as well, what's going on there. You get videos from it as well. Let's see. Everton says, yeah, 2:30 in UK, off to work. Oh, wow, you start early, my friend. 2:30. Well, I hope you have a wonderful day at work. Let's see. Question, why 1.5 or 2x HODL? Would you pay 2x for IBIT or other ETFs? I think the premium will trend to 1x for MicroStrategy and everyone else today. Non-holders did well. The only reason I think you would value it at 2x is if you believe Bitcoin's going to 200,000. That's the only reason right. So mostly I agree with you, right? You shouldn't be getting that much of a premium unless you believe Bitcoin's going up. If you don't believe Bitcoin's going up, it shouldn't get a 2x. If you think Bitcoin's going up to only 150,000, then I would say give it a value of 1.5x. Because at that point, the current HODL will be valued at 1.5 higher, right? So that's kind of the way I'm looking at it that way. But it should not be a constant 2x. Bitcoin gets to 200,000, there's no way it should be valued still 2x higher. Unless you really believe that Bitcoin's going to like 400,000. I hope that makes sense. Question, what do you think Bitfarms is aiming to get out of these conferences? They attend a lot of them and keep production, mediocre production reports. What do they get? I don't know what they get out of it. Exposure, right? They also have some, I think it's mostly for shaking hands, rubbing elbows and all that stuff with some of the people that might be investing in them, as far as institutions and things like that. They send their people out there as well. So I think that's mostly for what that is. Let's see. Hank says, it's shocking that the miners can be held down like this, especially IREN and Cleanspark, even Bit Digital crazy. Yeah, I know it is. Okay. Seb, what do you think regarding price prediction of Griffin Digital Mining? Oh, I have no idea where they're even at right now as far as stock price or anything like that. So I don't know. Seb, do you think the shorts might stop when miners announce their results on February? I don't think they're going to stop completely. I think some will probably transition to being long, a little bit longer, I would think, unless they want to get wrecked. So I do think they will subside at least. Let's see. Michael says, I guess the main reason for the sell-off is because I don't think, remember, sell-off in miners or sell-off in Bitcoin a little bit here. I don't think it's because of the fire. It might be a little bit attributable to that. People need maybe some cash for time being while their house has been burnt down, which is unfortunate, right? It's a tragedy over there, what's happening there. I was hearing stories today that like the cities, the mayor and the governor were defunding the fire station there by tens of millions of dollars. Like, if that's the case, man, what the heck were you guys thinking? Hank says earnings will crush the shorts. I'm hoping that is the case, right? That should be the case. Earnings should propel these things higher. The last couple of quarters, we know that they weren't great because of the halving event also had a huge impact on the miners. So that's why you short them usually at this point. And then you, after a certain point, you want to start going long on them, I would think. All right. Okay. I don't see any other questions here. We'll call it a day, I think. We're going on 42 minutes. Yeah, well, I think we'll call it a day. Hank, thanks so much for coming in. Everybody else as well. Really appreciate you guys. We'll do a stream on Sunday, see what's happening with everything else. Hope everyone has a wonderful weekend. And yeah, we'll see. Hopefully they can get the fire control under control in California there. And, hopefully, that's going to be still a long process for everybody to get everything back to normal, to get that rebuilt. It's a nightmare right now. So thoughts and prayers are with those people there. Hope all of you guys stay safe. Hope all of you have a wonderful weekend as well. And I'll see you guys on Sunday. All right. Love you all. Till then.